I think the best way I can describe the current state of the Expendables franchise is forgettable and possibly a little bit draining. I should probably include here now that there are spoilers. So I will be spoiling this movie, so if you haven't seen it yet, then maybe this is a good time to stop watching. The fourth installment is coming out nearly 10 years after the disaster that was the third film, with few remaining survivors from the older movies making it into the fourth installment. The ones that are left feel a little bit tired, bored with the franchise. I feel that mostly this could be the case because the rumors over the years are way more interesting and way more exciting than the final cast we actually got. A full list of yesteryear's stars like Pierce Brosnan, Jack Nicholson, Clint Eastwood, Jackie Chan, even Hulk Hogan claimed to have been contacted as a potential part of the movie. And there was also, of course, Dwayne Johnson, who I believe stated twice that he would like to be part of the franchise. And I believe most of these people were contacted as a potential villain in the movie. Ultimately, what we got was just a who's left, who's done any sort of action to their name. Now, just because we didn't get any of the yesteryear's stars, it doesn't mean that I didn't like the cast we got. There were some fantastic people in there. 50 Cent is a towering and intimidating figure, but he doesn't actually do anything in the movie. Levi Tran looks absolutely badass, but unfortunately she doesn't do anything in the movie. Jacob Scipio looks great, but again, he doesn't do anything. Tony Jaa, now he does do stuff. Now I absolutely really enjoyed Ong Bak, like when I watched it like 20 years ago. But I didn't actually know there were sequels to that. So those are two films that I've actually recently discovered that, hey, I need to go and see because I really enjoyed the first one. The only problem with his character is that he was kind of written poorly. He is like, I can't help. Once you kill so many people, you kind of lose yourself and I don't want to cross that line. And Jason Statham's like, yeah, I can understand that. I respect that. That's a very good, fair play. No more pressure on you. And then he immediately shows up and starts killing people. He's just like, what are you doing, man? What happened to losing yourself? You wasn't harassed for not doing that. You were just like, I respect that. But yeah, so his character was just written poorly. And then as for the aging returning cast, they mostly seem bored and don't do anything in the movie again. Former UFC fighter Randy and action star Dolph are still there. They have some lines, they appear in front of the camera, so they are physically there in the movie. But that's it, that's pretty much their entire contribution. Megan Fox looks very good on camera, but also contributes nothing to the film. And then there's Sylvester Stallone, who isn't even there. He doesn't even do what Randy and Dolph do. He's not physically there in the movie. Only at the very beginning, really, and very briefly at the end. Apparently, before the project had even got underway, he had left the film and left the franchise. I think due to creative differences. I don't think it's his age at 77. I think he still really enjoys making action movies, but he just looks kind of bored with this franchise now. And then there's Jason Statham. And this might as well be in any other kind of Jason Statham movie like Transporter or Crank, because it literally is all about him and he kind of does everything. Most of the fighting is done by him. The film follows his journey. There's his relationship with Megan Fox. And towards the end of the movie, he would have been the person to make the ultimate sacrifice if the film actually went down this route and done something interesting. Now, I'm yet to speak about the plot, even though I may have given some spoilers already, because there isn't really much to say about it. Barney once again wrangling his team of veteran tough guys for what may be their most dangerous mission to date. The muscle-bound heroes face off against Iko Uwais from The Raid, which is an absolutely fantastic movie, as he tries to get his hands on some nukes. However, it seems that someone has betrayed the Expendables and they need to discover who the true villain actually is. Now, I wanted some R-rated violence, testosterone-filled bravado and jaw-dropping action sequences. But what we got was subpar CGI. I mean, sometimes it is absolutely awful, which might actually be the new standard if you're watching like Marvel movies nowadays. terrible, absolutely terrible, uninteresting dialogue, a predictable plot, a very lazy reveal at the end, and just a whole bunch of underused characters. There is a wide cast here in the Expendables. We should have been treated to a variety of different characters with different abilities, fighting styles, characteristics, led by veteran soldier and warrior Barney Ross. But there is nothing here like that. Little chemistry between the characters, little to separate them apart from each other. They're all good with guns, they have muscles, and they can all do some sort of martial art. Now Tony Jaa is pretty much the only one who can really is slightly different from the rest, as he's not really a part of the Expendables team. And he does, I believe he brings Muay Thai is his fighting style. And it looks amazing on camera, but he again is the only one with like a very short part, but does contribute something to the movie. Now, with all these characters, you could have had such a variety of different action sequences going on. And that's what I believe we were promised. Like, the director wanted us to see how all these characters bring something different and unique to the team. And this is when I would compare it to something, say, like James Gunn's Suicide Squad, which has a large cast with a variety of colorful characters who are all given moments to shine and show off their individual fighting styles or their individual personalities. And it's just really a shame that we don't get anything like that here. Now, I believe this was always meant to be the last movie, but it's not like it went out with a bang. It just ended with a whimper. The movie also seems to be struggling at the box office, which is no surprise. I wonder how many people were anticipating this film after such a long wait. And it's not like The Expendables was like one of the biggest franchises ever, like Avatar, which was the biggest grossing movie for so long. Even after the long wait, so many people still went to see that movie. I don't think Expendables quite has that sort of fan base as much as like Avatar did. So it's no surprise that it seems to be struggling, especially after the disappointing third movie. And I do wonder the lessons that they will take from this in Hollywood. My guess is it's not going to necessarily be the correct lessons. Like, I don't really like to give scores out of 10. I prefer to give like recommendations of like, say, this film is on the same level as these movies. However, I just want to recommend some of these guys' other films instead. Because Tony Jaa in Ong Bak is an incredible movie. I haven't seen the 2 and 3 yet. And obviously The Raid is an absolutely incredible film. And Suicide Squad kind of does what The Expendables does, but a hell of a lot better. Not the first Suicide Squad, of course. James Gunn's Suicide Squad. Other than that, you could probably give this one a miss. If this is the end of the franchise, then it's kind of just faded away into nothingness. If they do decide to continue it, because I do believe having like all these old action stars kind of coming back for this kind of movie sounds like a great idea. They just really need to get like a better writer, someone who can actually write interesting dialogue and actually let other characters do things. But that's all I have to say about The Expendables. So I'm done.